All right, welcome back. Today we're doing another great testimonial call, or I hope it's great. I haven't done it yet. Uh, we're here with Chris. What's going on, Chris?
Hey, how's it going, Reggie?
Feeling good, man. How are you today?
Good, good, feeling good.
Good. Now, Chris is one of the guilt-free game plan clients that we worked on a 14-week guilt-free game plan. I'll put a link to that in the description below. We're just going to find a little bit about what your experience is like. But we'll start with the basics, like who do you serve? Who do you help? What kind of business are you running? All that stuff.
Sure. Well, my family is number one. I have two small daughters and my wife, Ashley. So I do everything for them. And that's why I went down this journey on the 14-week game plan. For work, I am a management consultant, which means I at times am very busy, and then it can go from 150 miles per hour to 0 miles per hour very quickly. So my schedule is very up and down, and that's another reason why I needed some help with paying attention to my health and both the up times and the down times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it sounds like you were really working well with the integrity at some moments when you had that variable schedule, right? And sticking to your guns and making sure you're dedicated to your own goals. What's kind of the background to your values and your integrity and what you believe in, the family stuff?
Well, integrity is very important to me for a number of different reasons, but it's essential for my work, and I need to maintain a solid value of integrity to make sure I'm serving my clients well, and have their best interest in mind. And also in life, I think it's an important thing to make sure you have a strong grasp and a strong sense of integrity in anything you do, just to keep your mind on the prize. And Fit for Freelance was able to help me do that, just by aligning my goals and going into it. Honestly, I probably thought it was going to be a different set of goals, and I came out of it with something else. And so the integrity part helps you stay strong and dedicated to those goals. So it was helpful to kind of map that out, and then with integrity as a core value is kind of like a guiding light to make sure I stay in the right direction.
Nice, thanks. What was the decision point of when you knew you wanted a guilt-free game plan, and how did that transition work for you?
Well, I think I just called you, or I reached out to you and just asked if there's anything that you were doing that could help me out, because I think I'd gotten up to like 205 pounds, which is way too much for me, and actually I was struggling with I had a stressed out moment, little mini panic attack, which then led to a doctor visit, and they told me I had high cholesterol, and so there was a lot of things leading up to it that were concerning from a health perspective. So I reached out to you, and you laid out a couple of different ideas, but ultimately I think the 14 weeks was the right amount of time for me, and everything involved with it, like the mental aspect of setting goals and having the accountability, meeting every week. All the elements of the 14-week plan kind of aligned with what I thought would make me successful. So it made sense for me to do that, and it worked. I ended up losing 20 pounds, and cholesterol is fine. So very thankful for all that. Thank you very much for helping me.
You're welcome. Glad to help. Before using the guilt-free game plan, what were some of the mistakes and challenges that you're having with your health goals?
Well, yeah, it was, like I said, work is very up and down. So just allocating time for either exercise or putting together healthy meals and planning those out was not something that was top of mind for me. And so actually making the commitment to the plan helped me to reprioritize that, and putting in the framework of the 14-week of the guilt-free game plan to like align your lay out your goals, and then if you're kind of focused on those goals, then everything that comes after that comes naturally, and so you're not forcing anything, and so that was very helpful for me in kind of continuing to stay on track and continue to make progress.
Yeah, glad to hear that. That vision and focus exercise that happens early, that really gives a lot of clarity to clients. And like I use it too. It helps me like kind of understand what I'm aiming for and lines things up and makes it simple. What were some lessons you've learned from the guilt-free game plan that you can share?
There was a lot of more quantitative knowledge, I would say, that you were able to help me out with. Scientific knowledge, quantitative knowledge, where understanding how many calories per day. So at the beginning, I was really paying close attention to how many calories I was taking in, and not only calories but nutrients as well. And so getting kind of a baseline understanding of what you're taking in daily, and then how that impacts your health. In my case, I was focused on cholesterol and weight in general. And so making that connection between intake and results was really helpful. And I was also able to reach out to you for questions about, like, hey, what do you think of fish oil pills and something like that? Omega-3 fatty acids. What are some good sources of omega-3 fatty acids? And I think it was very helpful to have someone who has that knowledge base to give me some real advice, rather than like, Instagram or something that's telling me that fish oil pills is actually poison. Whereas, I asked you the question and you're like, oh, the FDA says this, this, and this. And it's like, well, okay, that's probably a more reputable source than a 16-year-old on Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah, that background nutrition education, the master's in medical science really add up to some helpful coaching. So I'm glad that it kind of shed some light on the nutrition process. A lot of people, when they want to make a health habits change, they'll just look at one element of it. But we really like to look at the nutrition and give you a baseline, and then make little adjustments, and then questions about supplements just kind of come naturally in that process. So thanks for that. Really glad to help. How did you feel using a guilt-free framework? Was it simple and clear? What was your journey like? Can you tell us about that?
It was simple. It takes a lot of energy to do the work up front to kind of make sure you have the right goals in mind. So it was good effort, but it was a lot of effort, and it pays off in the end. But you really have to take the time and sit down and think about why you're actually doing what you're doing, or why you reached out in the first place, and it will help you make those goals real. And again, once the goals are correct, then everything else comes naturally after that. So if you have those goals in back of mind or front of mind, then your decisions on a day-to-day basis start to become easier. So you're going to want to get up and go do that workout, because you have written down on your guilt-free game plan that you want to have more energy for your kids, and so making that connection, not just saying like, oh, I want to go do a workout just to check off the box. It's like, no, I want to go do a workout so I have more energy for my kids. So then you're like, oh, okay, well, that's a good reason. I'm probably going to do that.
I can do it for that. Yeah. Yes. That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, man, that's awesome. So you're describing kind of like the accountability, the process for ownership, which is a huge part. It's one of the 3 key pillars of the guilt-free framework. So glad that I was able to help you dial in. And that is something that kind of makes a difference when you're talking about, just looking up things online and having an idea of what you want for yourself, and then actually like taking the time to focus and line everything up so it's easy to follow through with what you actually tend to do. And that little bit of extra effort you might be like, this is annoying. I don't really want to do all this work. But sometimes that like refining process is what gets you that little extra push and motivation. So I was glad you're able to do that and see that and feel it for yourself. Something I love about the Guilt-free Game Plan is that it's not just health in a vacuum, right? It's not just like its own thing that you do, like you described, just to check the box, and you start to connect it to other things. And that was actually part of my next question: is the vision and focus exercise you're able to make health about showing up for your family. Is there anything you want to add about that? Can you tell us more about some of the impact it's had on the fam?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, I started going to the gym a lot more once we started the game plan, and focused a lot on lifting weights, because that's something I used to do in high school and a little bit in college. But that just gave me so much energy, and so as a result of that, then just doing daily things. Like, I have two small kids, so like bending over and like squatting and helping them, take a bath or go to the bathroom, whatever. It takes a lot of bending over and squatting, and I just have like so much more endurance and energy to be able to do that stuff now. So, and by the end of the night, I'm not like exhausted and passing out like I used to be. And so, I mean, I have more energy for every aspect of my life, and it helps out at work too. I think I told you at one point during the plan, I was just in casual conversation with folks at work, and was able to recall, specific statistics and numbers, and it was very helpful. And I felt like that was as a result of the nutrition plan that I was on, and the fact that I was just drinking a lot of water, which I found had a big impact on everything that I did. So all those things had real tangible impacts on like every aspect of my life. It all goes back to having more energy and more capacity for family and friends and work.
Perfect. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. More energy for family, and then more mental clarity at work. Better hydration also helps. So that's check, check, and check.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the next question: making changes isn't always easy. It's simple. Like, you can get stuck casually implementing health plans and resolutions and feeling mentally weak pretty easily. Tell me about your journey getting comfortable with changing your health habits.
Yeah, I think I struggled at the beginning, just trying to set the right goals, and it was hard for me to, get down to like the most granular level that the plan requires, for weekly goals and keys to win the week and all that stuff. So I think at the beginning it was tough for me to get that granular. I was thinking more, longer term goals. By the end of the program, I want to, be here and be doing this. But really breaking it down takes effort. And so once I was able to do that, and then the flip side of it is, and I think we talked about, one of the challenges was recognizing the little wins associated with that. So once I kind of got the grasp of setting the right shorter term goals and recognizing those wins, then everything else kind of started falling into place. But it was tough for me at the beginning to get a grasp on how granular you need to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what Chris is describing here is, first, there's a vision and focus where you tie it to the bigger picture, like the purpose that you are living, pretty much like family, having more energy and clarity. And we break that down into game plan goals. And then on the weekly calls, we break it down even further, down to the keys to win a week. So like an individual action that you can take each week that's going to help you reach those bigger goals. And so it's both. A lot of times when people start these new health habit changes, they just have a big generalized picture, and we just bring it all into focus and make it easier for you to understand how to use it. And Chris had great experience with that, got great results, saw it firsthand how it works. And looking forward to impacting more lives with that, because that guilt-free game plan is the real deal.
And the accountability part is really important too when doing those weekly meetings. So, for example, like when one of the weekly goals was to set up this workout, and I did set it up. Then I ended up not going because I got busy with work, and I scheduled a meeting at that time. And I remember you know, I was I was talking to you, and you were like, well, you know, you were busy at that time. You know, you weren't available, and you know, you scheduled a meeting at that time. I could have scheduled it later, but you know, I think just subconsciously, I just scheduled the meeting during the time of my workout, and I didn't need to. And so just having someone to hold you accountable for decisions like that, because then there's an excuse there. Oh, I didn't work out because I got busy with work. But you know, maybe that's not necessarily true. Like you could have scheduled that at a different time, and you could have done both things. So having that accountability, or somebody just call you out on your BS, was very helpful in recognizing those shorter term goals.
Nice. Yeah, I was really glad to share that with you, because a lot of people, that's another one of the core pillars, is confidence and self-compassion. And it's very easy for people to get stuck when they override their own plans for themselves, right? And you can be like, oh yeah, I can just work out later, or, you know, I can skip meals. And like every once in a while that happens, and that's fine. But a lot of times people do that continuously, and then they're way off track on the goals that they have for themselves. And then they can't show up their best selves for the people and things they love. And so I was really glad to kind of remind you, like, hey, you scheduled that, like, be nice to Chris. So that was awesome. All right. And then a big question here that I didn't give you a chance to prepare for. Let's say at the end of your life, if it's the end of your life right now, people are reflecting on you. You have your family and your friends and your colleagues, and everybody's there. They're really sad that you're gone. And they're talking about the impact that you've made. What is the hope that they are saying about you?
I would say that, you know, he was kind, and he made time for to be present, you know, with everyone. So I think that's the most important thing, and just to be kind and think of others first, and make sure you're putting in the love and empathy for those that you care about. So I want people to recognize that.
Nice. So I definitely see you doing that, and I recognize that light in you. One of the kindest men I've ever met. And just really appreciate you joining me on this guilt-free game plan journey. I was really glad to coach you, and you can always be a client again. I'll be here. Thanks for all your support. Do you have any other comments, questions, things that I forgot to ask or didn't ask, or things you want to add? Anything like that?
I would say I think the plan really helped me out. It was the right decision for me, and ultimately my cholesterol is way better, and down into normal range now, and I lost 20 pounds, lifting weights again, and you know, getting back to a normal level of lifting, and just have a ton more energy. So thank you so much for that. It was very, very helpful. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. I'm glad to get you those great results. Those are huge, like life-changing things. So it was really cool to work with you on that. And I appreciate you coming on and talking about that in this interview. So thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. Whoever is watching this now, and I'll put links in the description below to the guilt-free game plan, so you can learn more about it and find out if it's right for you. And you can also check out some of my other videos. So that's it. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
And keep practicing.